Now, 4 out of 5 child car seats are incorrectly fitted, meaning a simple trip down to the local shop could put your child's safety at risk. Now, the Road Safety Authority's Check It Fit service is checking car seats all over the country.
Joining us now is Road Safety Promotion Officer Aisling Leonard to demonstrate how to fit a car seat correctly. It should be straightforward, Aisling, but it can be quite a minefield for many parents, particularly new parents.
Yep.
And the stats are kind of frightening. 4 out of 5 car seats are fitted incorrectly.
Exactly. So the Check It Fit service travels around the whole country, and we visit about 150 locations every year. And we've checked about 21,000 car seats so far. And that's exactly what we found, is 4 out of 5 child car seats are incorrectly fitted. And of those ones, 80% of them are classified as a major adjustment.
Wow.
So if you can imagine a car seat that requires a major adjustment, it can never perform as it should in the event of a crash.
Is that down to, and I speak for myself, is that down to our stupidity, or are they too complicated? Because these are the bane of my existence with 4 kids. And you think by now, with our baby, with the 4th one, I would have just thrown in and got it right.
Yeah.
I've had blazing rows of them. And I never know if it's fitted right.
No, and they're all different. So it's really important to get expert advice when you're buying them and when you're fitting them as well. So you'll have this one for newborn and you go all the way up. The child car seats are all different. And the cars are also different as well. So it's really important.
Well, let's start, Aisling, with newborn babies. So you're taking newborn home from hospital. And I know the hospitals are great now. They check. You have to bring the car seat in to get the baby out.
Exactly.
You have to take the child out in the car seat.
Yes, absolutely. Which is good. I think that's fantastic. But this is stage 1.
Yeah, so this is stage 1. So this will do for a newborn up to typically about 13 kilos. Or when their head starts to crown the top of the seat. So either or, OK? You don't have to wait for one or the other. If it's 13 kilos or the head starts to crown the top of the seat.
And it's the top of the seat, not the top of the seat.
Exactly, the top of the seat. So keep them in this for as long as you can. But those are the 2 measurements.
And this is rear-facing?
This is rear-facing, and they're much safer rear-facing. So again, keep them rear-facing for as long as possible. The key things when you're fitting this seat is to make sure that the lap belt, so the belt that goes across your own lap, should go across the lap of the child. And sometimes, you know, when you're fitting the seat, the lap comes around the back, and that's the mistake. It doesn't hold the child car seat at all. So the key thing to remember is lap belt to the lap of the child, and fit it in through the blue guides on a rearward-facing seat, and then this shoulder belt goes around the back
and there's a fitting
into the blue guide here as well.
And sometimes there's 2 of those. There's one either side that you have to slide
exactly.
it into.
So the key thing to do is, you know, when you're buying the seat, get an expert to show you how to fit it. Read the instructions carefully. Fit it into your car as well.
Now that could be going into a base, couldn't it?
It could, yeah. The base is just there behind Simon.
Yes,
so
that's what I have.
That can be an ISOFIX base that fits directly onto the chassis of your car. The other thing to remember with these as well is that you adjust the harness. So the harness straps here can go up and down, and likewise the head protector. And the other thing is that this is not just a carry handle. This is a crash barrier, OK? So for most of these types of seats, this is the crash barrier. Really important to check whether it should be in this upright position or down against the seat. So again, making sure you ask all those
questions. Does it not go that way?
It does go back that way for accessing the child, but sometimes in other seats, these can be forward. But for this particular seat, it should be in the upright position.
For that particular seat, OK. And as you say, which I think is interesting, actually, that, you know, wherever you buy the car seat, most of them will say, if you say to them, you couldn't do me a favour and come out and they will come out.
They will always do that.
Well,
they should.
And you should find somebody who does that, you know, who has that service, and then will bring them out and test them in the car.
So moving out of this one then.
Yeah, so just before we move on,
grown up.
Exactly,
Rosie's getting bigger.
So before we move on, I'd just like to remind everybody that all children under 150 centimetres, which is about 4'11", OK, and 36 kilos, must use, by law, a child car seat that's appropriate to their height and weight. OK. So that's your average 11 or 12-year-old.
Yes, yeah. So there should still be at least a booster seat.
Exactly. So after this, then, you'll have the choice to either go forward-facing or rearward-facing, OK? So a forward-facing seat, just like this one here, will typically do the child up to about 18 kilos, OK? And the thing to remember is that you adjust it as the child grows as well. So you can see there that you can adjust that harness up or down. And the other thing to remember is that it's only up to 18 kilos. So after that, you have to be aware of your child's weight all the time, so that you know when to move it on. Exactly.
And then after this one, actually,
after that one, or as a choice, you can keep them rearward facing. So I explained that it is safer to keep them rearward facing. The seat itself actually absorbs most of the crash forces. So instead of the forward facing where the child is actually taking most of the force, it's the seat that takes it in this. So again, keep them rearward facing if you can at all. The key thing, I suppose, with all seats across the board is to make sure that the actual fitting is tight. Okay, take all the slack out of the belt, and there could be some natural slack as well that happens as you're traveling along as well. So make sure you check it on a regular basis and pull all the slack out of the belt.
So important. We're killed for time. We're actually out of time, actually, but you can get advice and you can get help. Is there a website that we can go to see where the service is?
It's www.checkitfits.ie.
Marvellous.
Brilliant. Okay. Thank you, Aisling.
Thank you very much, Aisling.